In Texas, you can legally get married without actually being at your own wedding. You can be fined for milking a stranger's cow, and if you try to sell your own eyes on the open market, you're looking at a year in the county jail. Most people think of Texas as a place of simple rules and open plains, but the deeper you look, the more it feels like a glitch in the American simulation. From 1,300-pound pies to laws that defy logic, these are the 50 wildest facts that prove, in the Lone Star State, reality is optional. Fact 1. The Sovereign Loophole. Texas is the only state in the Union that didn't join via a simple annexation. It joined via an international treaty. Because it was an independent nation for 9 years before becoming a state, it carried over some very strange sovereign leftovers. For one, it is the only state with a standing legal provision that allows it to split itself into 5 separate states whenever it feels like it, without needing permission from the federal government. Furthermore, because of its unique entry, the Texas flag is legally allowed to be flown at the same height as the American flag, a subtle, permanent nod to its history as a republic. To the rest of the country, it's a state. To the law, it's a former nation-state hiding in plain sight. Fact 2. The Eye-Market Prohibition. If you find yourself in a financial hole in Dallas, don't look in the mirror for assets to liquidate. Under Texas Penal Code Section 48.02, it is a Class A misdemeanor to sell your own eyes. While the law allows you to donate your organs for the good of humanity, the moment you try to put a price tag on your corneas or your kidneys, you become a criminal. It's a strangely specific law that makes you wonder exactly how many people were trying to hawk their eyeballs on the black market before the state legislature was forced to step in and make it a jailable offense. Fact 3. The Ghost Wedding. Texas is one of the very few places on Earth where you can have what is called a proxy marriage. This means you can legally marry someone without either the bride or the groom being physically present at the ceremony. You simply send a stand-in or a designated representative. While this was originally designed to help military members stationed overseas, it creates a bizarre legal reality where a couple can start a legal life together while being 10,000 miles apart. You don't even have to say, "I do" yourself. Someone else can say it for you. Fact 4. Proclamation by persistence. If the proxy marriage sounds too formal, Texas has a common law glitch. You can become legally married just by proclaiming it 3 times in public. In the eyes of the state, if you tell enough people you're married, live together in the same house, and represent yourselves as a couple, the state simply accepts it as truth. No license, no priest, and no courthouse required. In Texas, the power of your word is literally enough to change your legal status in the eyes of the government. Fact 5. The 3-sip standoff. In the quiet town of La Force, there is a legal fossil that proves the law has a very strange relationship with gravity. It is technically illegal to take more than 3 sips of beer at a time while standing up. This is a survivor of the old blue laws, suggesting that if you want to enjoy a drink, you'd better find a chair. Apparently, in the early history of La Force, the sight of someone chugging a beer while upright was considered a threat to public order. Fact 6. The first word from the void. When Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the lunar surface in 1969, they didn't address the United Nations, and they didn't address the President of the United States. They addressed a city in the Texas coastal plains. The very first word ever spoken from the surface of another world was Houston. For a brief, shining moment in human history, the center of the universe wasn't New York, London, or DC. It was a mission control center in East Texas. Fact 7. The Fossilized Suburbs. If you live in the northern suburbs of Dallas, your lawnmower might be running over the remains of a prehistoric ocean. During the massive construction booms of the last few decades, builders have frequently unearthed 90-million-year-old shark teeth and massive ammonite shells right under the driveways of suburban homes. Long ago, this area was part of the Western Interior Seaway, a shallow ocean home to 50-foot-long mosasaurs. Today, kids in Frisco and Plano find Cretaceous sea life in their backyards, like it's common garden variety dirt. Fact 8. The Encyclopedia Beer Ban. Knowledge is power, But in Texas, it was once a threat to the liquor industry. The entire Encyclopedia Britannica was once banned in the state because it contained a detailed, step-by-step recipe for making beer at home. To the legislators of the time, a book that taught the average citizen how to bypass the local tavern and brew their own alcohol was considered a dangerous piece of contraband. It's one of the few times in American history where a set of encyclopedias was treated like a bootlegger's manual. Fact 9. The Cow-Milking Felony. Until 1973, it was a specific standalone criminal offense to milk someone else's cow. In a state where cattle were, and still are, considered liquid gold, borrowing a bucket of milk wasn't just a prank. It was seen as a serious form of property theft. While you can still be charged with theft of personal property today, for over a century, the cow law was its own special brand of Texas justice, protecting the udders of the state from unauthorized use. Fact 10. The Armored Biohazard. Texas armadillos look like harmless, slow-moving relics of the dinosaur age, but they carry a secret. They are the only animals on Earth, besides humans, that can naturally carry leprosy. This isn't just a rural legend. Scientists actually use Texas armadillos to study the disease because of their unique biology. If you see one of these tank rats rooting around your yard, the advice is simple: do not touch it. It is essentially a walking armored biohazard that hasn't changed its look in millions of years. Fact 11. The 12-hour treadmill. Texas is so massive that it effectively breaks the logic of neighboring states. If you start your car in the western city of El Paso, you are actually closer to the Pacific Ocean in San Diego, California, than you are to the eastern border of your own state in Beaumont. You can drive east for 12 hours straight at 80 miles per hour, passing through high deserts, limestone hills, and dense pine forests, and never see a different state's license plate on a police cruiser. It isn't just a state, it's a geographical wall that takes a full day of your life to cross. Fact 12. The Sahara of the Oil Patch. Most people associate Texas with dusty brushland, but near the town of Monahans, there is a 4,000-acre sea of rolling golden quartz dunes. Some of these dunes reach 70 feet in height. It looks like a mini Sahara or a Martian environment that was accidentally dropped into the middle of the world's busiest oil fields. This dune field actually stretches for 200 miles, providing a surreal, shifting landscape where children go sandboarding while oil pumps churn in the distance. Fact 13. The pineapple from hell. Texas weather doesn't just change, it attacks with terminal velocity. On June 2, 2024, a storm near Vigo Park dropped a hailstone measuring 7.25 inches across. To put that in perspective, that is the size of a large pineapple falling from the stratosphere. It shattered state records and serves as a brutal reminder that when the Texas sky decides to turn on you, it doesn't just rain, it throws ice boulders. Fact 14. The Mountain of Corpses. The Guadalupe Mountains in West Texas are some of the most beautiful peaks in the country, but they are built on a foundation of death. These mountains aren't made of volcanic rock or tectonic granite. They are a fossilized Permian reef. 265 million years ago, this entire area was underwater. The cliffs you see today, including the iconic El Capitan, are the skeletons of ancient sponges, algae, and marine life. You are standing 8,000 feet in the air on a structure that was built on the bottom of a prehistoric ocean. Fact 15. The Subterranean Nile. Deep beneath the city of San Antonio lies the Edwards Aquifer. It isn't just a pool of water, it's a massive, high-pressure underground river flowing through limestone caves 3,000 feet deep. The pressure is so immense that if you drill a hole in the right spot, the water will gush out of the ground with enough force to supply a city of 250,000 people. It is a hidden, dark ocean that allows life to exist in the scorched Texas hill country. We've looked at the ground and the sky, but the final 5 facts are where the simulation truly glitches, where the lights move on their own and the prehistoric monsters still swim. Fact 16. The Marfa Mystery. Since 1883, people have been reporting the Marfa Lights. mysterious glowing orbs that dance across the night sky near Highway 90. These lights don't behave like headlights or campfires. They flicker, merge, and disappear in ways that defy physics. Theories range from atmospheric reflections to energy being released from underground quartz. Despite over a century of scientific investigation, no one has definitively proven what they are. In the West Texas desert, some things simply refuse to be explained. Fact 17. The Bat Tornado. Every summer at the Devil's Sinkhole, one of the most terrifyingly beautiful displays of nature takes place. 3 million Mexican free-tailed bats emerge from a 350-foot deep pit at dusk. They don't just fly out, they form a mesmerizing, swirling bat tornado that is so dense it actually shows up on local weather radar as a massive storm cell. It's a literal cloud of fur and wings that darkens the sky for miles. Fact 18. The Vanishing River. Near the town of Concon, the Frio River does something that looks like a map error. In a specific stretch of the hill country, the water simply disappears. Because of the porous limestone karst geography, the entire river seeps into underground tunnels, traveling in total darkness for miles before popping back up downstream like nothing happened. Hikers have stood in the dry riverbed, watching the water vanish into the rocks like a giant drain has been pulled on the world. Fact 19. The Sky Island Rainforest. In the middle of the scorching Chisos Mountains, there is a Sky Island. While the desert floor below can hit a blistering 110 degrees, the peaks rise to 8,000 feet, trapping moisture and clouds. This creates a lush, humid microclimate filled with oak, maple, and pine trees. A literal rainforest trapped inside one of the hottest deserts in North America. It is a green, freezing oasis that shouldn't exist, surrounded by hundreds of miles of cactus and sand. Fact 20. The Freshwater Monster. Texas is home to a literal, living fossil that looks like it belongs in the Jurassic period. The alligator gar can grow over 8 feet long and weigh more than 300 pounds. With a snout full of needle-sharp teeth and scales so hard they were once used as arrowheads by Native Americans, these prehistoric giants still haunt the reservoirs and rivers of East Texas. They are the undisputed kings of the Texas simulation, a reminder that in this state, the monsters of the past never truly went away. Fact 21. The Dr. Pepper Safe. If you think the secret formula for Coca-Cola is the only guarded secret in the beverage world, think again. Dr. Pepper was invented in Waco, Texas in 1885, making it the oldest major soft drink in America. The legendary 23 flavors that give it its unique taste are so valuable that the recipe is physically split in half. Each half is kept in a different safety deposit box in 2 separate Dallas banks. To this day, only 3 people on Earth know the full recipe at the same time. Fact 22. The Radioactive Clock. Deep in the salt domes of West Texas, the government has been building a nuclear clock. The WIP facility isn't just a storage site. It's a tomb for radioactive waste that must remain undisturbed for 10,000 years. The challenge? How do you warn humans 10 millennia from now, who might not even speak our language, to stay away? Architects have proposed building forests of thorns and massive granite monoliths inscribed with warnings in every known tongue, essentially creating a modern-day cursed pyramid in the middle of the desert. Fact 23. The Town with the Iron Mask. In the town of Paris, Texas, there is a giant replica of the Eiffel Tower. But because this is Texas, they couldn't just leave it at that. To ensure it was better than the replica in Las Vegas, the residents placed a giant red 60-gallon cowboy hat right on top of the tower. It stands as a surreal monument to Texas's refusal to be outdone, a piece of Parisian elegance wearing a Stetson in the middle of a cow pasture. Fact 24. The Cat-Sized Squirrel. If you see a squirrel in West Texas that looks like it's been hitting the gym, you've probably spotted a rock squirrel. These aren't your average park dwellers. They are the largest squirrels in North America, growing up to 2 feet long and weighing nearly 2 pounds. They don't live in trees. They live in burrows in the ground and have been known to fight off snakes and even small dogs. They are the tank version of a rodent, built specifically for the harsh Texas terrain. Fact 25. The underground city. While most people are stuck in traffic on the streets of Houston, there is an entire world moving beneath their feet. The Houston Tunnel System is a 7-mile network of air-conditioned passages 20 feet below the city streets. It connects 95 city blocks and contains full food courts, retail stores, and medical clinics. During the brutal Texas summers, thousands of people live their entire professional lives without ever stepping outside into the humidity. Fact 26. The German heart of Texas. There is a specific dialect of German that is spoken nowhere else on Earth except for the Texas Hill Country. Known as Texas German, it was developed by immigrants in the 19th century who were so isolated that their language evolved independently from Germany. They created words like Luftschiff for airplane before Germans in Europe did. Today, the dialect is dying out, but it remains a linguistic ghost, a 150-year-old version of Germany frozen in time in the middle of Fredericksburg. Fact 27. The 72-ounce ritual. In Amarillo, there is a culinary gauntlet known as the 72-ounce steak challenge at the Big Texan Steak Ranch. Since 1960, the rules have been simple. You have 1 hour to eat a 4.5-pound steak, a baked potato, a shrimp cocktail, a salad, and a bread roll. If you finish, it's free. If you fail, it's $72. Over 70,000 people have attempted it. And while most fail, the record for eating the entire thing is held by a 120-pound woman who finished it in under 5 minutes. Fact 28. The accidental ocean. In the early 1900s, Texas almost accidentally created a permanent inland sea. During an irrigation project gone wrong, the Colorado River flooded into a dry basin for 2 years straight. While the Salton Sea in California is the famous result of a similar accident, Texas has the Caddo Lake, the only natural lake in the state. Except it isn't fully natural. It's a tangled labyrinth of cypress trees and Spanish moss that looks like a prehistoric swamp where time stopped in the year 1800. Fact 29. The world's largest rose garden. Tyler, Texas is home to a literal sea of thorns. The Tyler Municipal Rose Garden is the largest in the United States, spanning 14 acres with over 38,000 rose bushes representing 500 different varieties. During the peak of the blooming season, the scent is so powerful it can be detected from the local highway. It is a massive, fragrant anomaly in a state better known for its prickly pear cacti. Fact 30. The speed limit of the gods. Texas holds the record for the fastest legal road in the Western Hemisphere. On a 41-mile stretch of State Highway 130 between Austin and San Antonio, the speed limit is 85 miles per hour. Because the road is so flat and the visibility so high, it is the only place in America where you can legally drive at speeds that would get you arrested in almost any other state. It is the closest thing the US has to the German Autobahn. Fact 31. The Cathedral of Junk. In a quiet backyard in South Austin, there is a structure that looks like a glitch in the neighborhood's zoning laws. It's called the Cathedral of Junk. Since 1988, a single man has been building a massive, multi-level tower made of over 60 tons of discarded items: bicycles, circuit boards, lawnmower parts, and old televisions. It's not just a pile of trash. It's a structurally sound, vaulted cathedral of the forgotten. It has staircases, throne rooms, and observation decks, proving that in Texas, one man's landfill is another man's spiritual monument. Fact 32. The Bat Bridge Radar. Austin's Congress Avenue Bridge is home to the largest urban bat colony in North America, with 1.5 million Mexican free-tailed bats living in the crevices beneath the road. Every evening at sunset, they emerge in a massive, swirling black cloud to hunt insects. The colony is so dense that when they take flight, they actually appear on local Doppler weather radar as a massive circular storm cell. Meteorologists often have to explain to new residents that the storm on their screen is actually just a few million hungry mammals. Fact 33. the helium capital of the world. If the world ever runs out of party balloons or liquid coolant for MRI machines, they'll be looking at Amarillo. For decades, the Texas Panhandle was the site of the Federal Helium Reserve. Because of unique geological formations, the natural gas here is incredibly rich in helium. At one point, the cliffside storage facility held over 1 billion cubic meters of the gas, roughly 40% of the entire world's supply, stored in a massive underground cliff. Fact 34. The only state with 3 power grids. The United States is divided into 3 major power grids: the Eastern Interconnection, the Western Interconnection, and Texas. The Texas Interconnection is a standalone grid that covers nearly the entire state. This was done intentionally decades ago to avoid federal regulation, making Texas the only state in the lower 48 that can theoretically operate its electricity entirely independent of the rest of the country. It is a literal electrical island. Fact 35. The Luckenbach Population, Texas is famous for its small towns, but Luckenbach takes it to the extreme. Made famous by the Waylon Jennings song, this town consists of a post office, a general store, and a dance hall. For years, the official population was listed as 3. Even today, the permanent population fluctuates between 2 and 10 people. Despite this, thousands of people flock there every weekend for live music, making it a place where the tourists outnumber the residents 10,000 to 1. Fact 36. The living map of Texas. In the 1930s, students at Texas A&M University decided to build a tribute to their state that would last forever. They planted a living map of Texas using trees. Located near the campus, the grove of trees was meticulously mapped out, so that from the air, the canopy forms a perfect scale silhouette of the state's borders. It's a biological landmark that has been growing and changing for nearly a century. Fact 37. The ghost of the HMS Bounty. You wouldn't expect to find a piece of British naval history in the middle of a Texas lake, but the Galveston County area holds a strange secret. In 2012, during Hurricane Sandy, a replica of the famous HMS Bounty sank off the coast of North Carolina. However, pieces of the ship's rigging and historic artifacts from various maritime replicas have ended up in Texas museums and private collections, creating a weird shipwreck trail that connects the Gulf Coast to the high seas of the 18th century. Fact 38. The world's largest working fire hydrant. If you find yourself in Beaumont, you might run into a fire hydrant that looks like it was built for a Godzilla-sized dog. Standing 24 feet tall and weighing 4,500 pounds, it is officially the world's largest working fire hydrant. It was donated by the Walt Disney Company to celebrate the re-release of 101 Dalmatians. The best part, it's actually hooked up to the city water lines and can blast 1,500 gallons of water per minute. Fact 39. The law of the sandwich, Texas, has some of the most specific food labeling laws in the country. At one point, legal disputes arose over what constitutes a sandwich for tax purposes. According to various state rulings, a sandwich must consist of 2 slices of bread. If it's on a roll or a bun, it's often classified differently. It sounds like a philosophical debate, but in the world of Texas commerce, the difference between a sandwich and a burger can mean thousands of dollars in tax revenue. Fact 40. The underwater graveyard of ships off the coast of Padre Island lies a graveyard of Spanish treasure. In 1554, 3 Spanish galleons were wrecked by a storm, spilling gold and silver across the ocean floor. While much of it was recovered, much remains buried under the shifting sands. This site is the oldest shipwreck ever discovered in U.S. waters. To this day, after major storms, beachcombers still head to the dunes of Padre Island hoping the Gulf has spit out another piece of 16th century silver. Fact 41. The Texas Navy. Texas is the only state in the Union that has its own Navy. While it's largely ceremonial today, the Texas Navy was a very real, very lethal fighting force during the years of the Republic. It was so effective that it once helped a rebellion in the Mexican state of Yucatan just to keep the Mexican government busy. Even now, the governor can commission admirals in the Texas Navy to honor individuals, maintaining a naval tradition for a state that technically doesn't need one. Fact 42. The town named Earth. In the Texas Panhandle, there is a town that sounds like it was named by someone who gave up on creativity. Earth, Texas is the only place on the planet with that name. It was originally going to be called Fairlawn, but the name was already taken, so the townspeople chose Earth instead. It is a tiny, dusty community that technically allows you to say you've traveled across the entire Earth without ever leaving the county. Fact 43. The first Whole Foods. The global empire of organic groceries began in an apartment. In 1978, a 25-year-old college dropout and his girlfriend opened Saferway in Austin. They were so broke they lived in the store, using the industrial dishwasher as a shower because the building wasn't zoned for residential use. 2 years later, they merged with another store to create the very first Whole Foods market, sparking a global health food revolution from a cramped Austin storefront. Fact 44. The Concrete Giants. If you drive through the town of Sugar Land, you'll see massive windowless concrete towers that look like they belong in a dystopian sci-fi movie. These are the Imperial Sugar Silos. For decades, this town was the center of the world's sugar industry, and the silos were built to be virtually indestructible to protect the white gold inside from moisture and heat. They stand today as towering hollow monuments to the industry that literally gave the city its name. Fact 45. The only natural lake. That isn't. For a long time, Caddo Lake was famously known as the only natural lake in Texas. Every other lake, from Lake Travis to Lake Louisville, is man-made. But even Caddo has a weird origin story. It was created by a massive, miles-long logjam known as the Great Raft on the Red River that backed up the water into the cypress swamp. When the Army cleared the logs in the 1800s, the lake began to drain, so they had to build a dam to keep it. In Texas, even the natural things need a little engineering to survive. Fact 46. The largest state fair. The State Fair of Texas isn't just a fair, it's a 24-day economic phenomenon. Held in Dallas every year, it draws over 2 million visitors. It is the largest state fair in the country and is famously presided over by Big Tex, a 55-foot-tall talking cowboy statue. Big Tex wears a 95-gallon hat and size 96 boots. In 2012, he famously burned to the ground in a freak electrical fire, an event that was treated with the same level of local mourning as a national tragedy before being rebuilt bigger and more fire-resistant. Fact 47. The Secret Tower of London. In the middle of the Texas Hill Country, there is a castle that looks like it was plucked out of medieval England. Falkenstein Castle was built based on sketches found at Neuschwanstein in Germany. It's a massive 14,000 square foot fortress made of Texas limestone, complete with a dungeon and a chapel. It's a private residence, but it stands as a reminder that if you have enough money and enough Texas land, you can build your own kingdom. Fact 48. The birth of 7-Eleven. The world's largest convenience store chain didn't start in a boardroom. It started on an ice dock. In 1927, Joe C. Thompson of the Southland Ice Company in Dallas started selling milk, eggs, and bread from an ice dock so customers wouldn't have to travel to a grocery store. This totem store eventually became 7-Eleven, named for its revolutionary new hours of operation, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. Fact 49. The Texas Stonehenge. If you head to the town of Ingram, you'll find Stonehenge too. It is an incredibly accurate concrete replica of the original monument in England, but about 60% of the size. It was originally built as a joke between two neighbors who had an extra limestone slab. Over time, they added 2 massive Easter Island Moai statues just for good measure. It's a surreal, ancient-looking landmark sitting in the middle of a Texas field. Fact 50. The Eternal Flame of the Panhandle. In the middle of the Palo Duro Canyon, there is a geological feature called the Lighthouse. But the real secret of the Panhandle is the gas. Because of the massive Hugoton gas field, there are spots where natural gas seeps through the earth. Legend has it that in the early days of settlement, cowboys could find eternal flames, small pockets of gas that had been ignited by lightning and would burn for years in the sheltered crevices of the canyon, providing a ghostly light in the desert night. Texas is more than just a place on a map. It's a glitch in the ordinary that proves reality is always bigger than the legend. If these facts blew your mind, hit that like button and subscribe to join us for more deep dives into the world's wildest corners.